Hello there, Flip here, and today we are going to be talking about the recently announced free constellations we're going to be getting for a majority of the units from 1.0 to like up to Fontaine-ish. So, as you can see, to my bottom left is my disgusting, filthy Twitch chat full of horrible animals and creatures that I dislike. And I'm going to be making this video live essentially because it's not that much effort to talk about most of the characters' constellations. Fuck, what do I say? Wait, my brain died. Wait. But before we get into the characters' constellations, as always, if at any point during the video you're entertained or informed, make sure to drop a like and even consider subscribing, as I talk on various topics regarding Genshin Meta and I'll try to keep you updated. Shout out to my lovely channel members, I really appreciate your support, it means the world to me. And with that out of the way, let's begin. No sponsor? I don't think is there going to be a sponsor for this video? I don't think so. No, there's not going to be a sponsor. I lied. So right now, Chaska and Mualani are currently on the banner. So if you'd like to cut down on the costs while going for them, then I would like to announce the sponsor for today's video, LD Shop. LD Shop is a very safe and reliable top-up site that allows you to get Primo Gems at a great deal starting from 15% off, while keeping your data safe. As for transactions, you only need to type in your UID and region, as you can see me doing here. Just needed to quickly refresh my welkin, and as you can see, it's here. And make sure to use my link, as that way you'll receive an extra 15% off coupon, as well as a 5% off coupon which can save you up to $50. LD Shop goes through official channels as well, meaning that you won't lose any of the in-game benefits like first-time top-up bonuses, so no need to worry. And additionally, because LD Shop is so great, users who spend over $80 will receive a VIP membership, which rewards you with free welcome moons. So head over to ldshop.gg using my link in the description below. What are you waiting for? Thanks to LD Shop for sponsoring this video, now back to it. So as you guys can see here, I pretty much brought up a tier list just for every character that we can use. And for the limited characters, since you can get one from the anniversary itself and then another one from this, I decided that I'm going to analyze the limited characters with their C6s in mind. So if you should go for their C6s or not, because most people should have standard cons. And then for the limited characters, I'm just going to be looking at their C1s and then C2s. I don't really think it's important to look at most of their C4s because pre-Fontaine C4s were dookie dog shit, and you probably aren't getting them to C6 anyways from this. The rules for the event is that you can only get 4 constellations, and you can only get 4 constellations per each character a year. That is at least how it's going to work here. And because Hoyoverse hates us, they're going to be excluding all of the Archons from this. They're excluding Yelan, which makes sense, her constellations are quite good for an early character. They're excluding Kazuha, which I don't really think his constellations are that good, but fair enough. And they're excluding Alhaitham for whatever I don't know why they're doing this. His constellations besides like C6 aren't even good? Question mark? But yeah, it makes, I think the Archons make sense. I think, but like the characters they excluded, I feel like are quite random. I feel like there's characters with better constellations than Alhaitham. I also hate the fact that they're excluding Yelan because their constellations are like actually good. Kaza and Alhaitham, they're being excluded, but their constellations aren't really good anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think that's enough pretense. Let's just talk about all the characters. I'm gonna shoot myself. Okay, starting with Jean, I don't really think you should be eyeing out for Jean constellations necessarily. Her C1 and C2 don't really do that much. Her C2 is nice quality of life that helps to execute combos easier. It's just that on the teams you're using Jean in, it doesn't really do a lot. Jean's C4 is nice if you're using a hyper carry, but the thing is that if you look at a character like Farazan already offers a pretty strong shred in her base kit. And as you know, resistance shred stacking doesn't really turn out the best because resistance shreds are halved when you reach 0%. So it gives less value to Jeans because Farazan's already innately will already most likely reduce the enemies to 0. In which case, even with a C4 Jean, both Wanderer and Zhao still just have better teammates. It gives Jean more viability in those teams, but it's not really something you should be gunning for. And then Jean's C6 is just purely defensive utility. So in my opinion, I don't really think it's worth going for anything on Jean. She's staying in this tier. I know you'd use Jean with Farina, it just isn't that great. Because Farazan's an insta-lock, and then if you're using Farina, then that means replacing Bennett, which isn't really better. Okay. It's 4 cons a year, yes. And if you like Diluc, the amazing thing about him is that you just don't have to pull any of his constellations at all, because playing him with Xianyun is his best team anyways. With the release of Anefa, actually, you can actually play Diluc as an overvape carry, and it isn't horrible, which his constellations would help with. It's just that I can't really recommend picking up Diluc constellations over just playing him in Plunge Melt teams, which are just by far his best teams. So for that reason as well, I think I'm also going to be keeping Diluc in this tier. Alright, now with Mona, she has 2 real constellations Constellations being her C1 and her C4. With Mona C1, the only real use you get out of it is the fact that it's very good for Mualani teams. Transformative reaction damage buffs aren't really that impactful, so the EC, the LC buffs, and the amazing freeze duration extension, which doesn't work at all, they don't really do anything. The main thing from her C1 is just the fact that it's very good for Mualani teams. That's the big benefit of it. Good on Truska too, yes. And then with her C4, this basically just gives you 15 crit rate for free. It's very, very good in Skirk teams to make her builds less crit rate. And again, it just gives her more utility as a supporting talent damage dealers. So yes, if you're on the verge of getting either Mona C1 or C4 and you want to use her well, then I can recommend picking up either of these constellations. I kind of didn't make a C4 here, so I'll just be putting Mona in. Oh wait, I kind of have to make a special exception for her, right? Fine. Sure, why not? I said I was gonna look at C4s for standard characters. Get off my dick. Okay, with Chi-Chi, let's also make this very easy. There's not a single thing. There's not a single constellation worth it at all for Chi-Chi. This is very easy. They gave her DPS cons for some reason. This is a revival con. None of these are impactful at all. Can you see that standard units gain slightly more value due to this level 100 Master Stella? I have it right here. Re-level 100 Stella. Oh, why does that say Stellar? It's in the tier. Eula massive, Eula battery cons. True. Chi-Chi batteries Eula. Okay, next is Keqing. Keqing's also kind of a character where her constellations aren't that great either. They don't really help her that much at all. It's just they're very minor damage increases. It's like, I guess if you really want your Keqing to feel stronger, you can. Well, anything but her C2. Well, if you get 2, you get the burst talent anyway. But yeah, I can't really recommend getting Keqing constellations either. They don't really make her that much better, nor do they really give her any quality of life. But they, at the very least, are technically increases. But yeah, I can't really recommend going for anything on Keqing, to be honest. At most, you get her C4 or C6 because they're actually good damage increases. C4 is 24% electric damage bonus. Yeah. And some constellations are giving triple that. Well, not triple, more like 3 times. But yeah, Keqing's kind of a C6 merchant. And even then, I wouldn't really recommend it. It's just if you really like Keqing and want her to do more damage. Klee is just a C2 merchant, yes. People have talked about her C2 so much that I don't even know what her C1 does. Oh, okay, sure. Regarding Klee C1, I'm just finding out now that this has a 10% chance to spawn, in which it's a lower damage increase than what I assumed it would be. So I don't know if I can really recommend, even if you wanted to use Klee as a DPS, I'm not really sure I can recommend picking this up, just because of how it is in terms of proc chance. If you're using her as a driver, this does, I guess, help with her pyro application, but I'm not going to really recommend you actually go for it. The big thing is going for Klee C2. It's one of the only forms of shredding defense in Genshin. If defense is added towards the end of the damage formula, making it quite impactful. Defense is also completely independent of other other stats in Genshin. It's only affected by itself and the other defense multipliers. If you look at something like resistance shredding, when you get to a certain point in res shredding, it becomes less valuable, but with defense shredding, it gets more valuable the more you have, which is kind of why it's so rare in the first place. So yeah, defense ignore and defense shredding is just a good stat to have in general. This makes Klee an actual like pyro support. You can use her for Linny stuff, or if you want to see like really big numbers on Mualani, for example. Def shredding is just a good universal buff to have, or I guess debuff. So if you want to hit some very funny numbers, it's also good for Klee as a DPS too. But if you want to hit funny numbers or want an actual pyro support occasionally, she's quite good for mono pyro teams especially, and burning teams. I can actually recommend picking this up if you have Klee. And she's been sitting on your bench for 3 years because no one pulls her. So yeah, she's going here. Like she needs, well, she doesn't have continuous pyro application from a field. How would she work in a Kinij on a Neonson team with TTDS? Are you even, I don't think you can pass TTDS to Kinij in that team. Right. Okay, anyways, I'm going to make this very easy for the next 2 characters. Tartaglia, both of these fucking suck. Both of these are ass. You don't want either of these. Please do not pull for please do not go for Tartaglia cons. Syncus with Albedo. The constellations do not save this man. It's bait. You don't really want either of these. Ganyu actually has surprisingly a good C1, at least a good early C1. It's like a 5 to 10% DPS increase. It's on the lower end if you're already having a shredder like a Skolfia in your teams, but certain melt subs can't really use a res shredder, like in Emily burn teams, for example, in which this gains more value. And then her C2 is kind of a nothing burger until you get her C6, which we aren't looking at for limited characters. So in which case, I can just recommend getting her C1. Melt Ganyu is like her idealized team. It's just that we don't have a good melt support. Durin save us. So yeah, for Ganyu, I'm just gonna place her here. Her C1 is quite good. Or well, it's okay. Who's next? Xiao. Again, Xiao. I will make this very easy. Actually, no, wait, his C1 is okay. for like first rotation. But everything else kind of sucks. Even his C6 is being quite dated with the amount of ST shilling. But I guess, is C1 even that great anymore with Farzan? It's fine, I guess. It gives initial particles, and you can use 3 skill has. C1 is fine. Yeah, oh yeah, that's actually true. It's very good for Stygian now. Actually, yeah, I can recommend getting Zhao C1 actually. Right, good point, good point. Who's next? Hu Tao. I wonder what I'm gonna say. Guys, it's Hu Tao. I wonder what I'm gonna say. If you have Hu Tao and she's C0, just put the C1 in the bag. Actually, just put the C1 in the bag. Her C2 is also like a meh damage increase, but the main thing is her C1. It's good quality of life and it's a good damage increase too. You just want to have this if you have Hu Tao. Eula also has good cons. Like, Eula has surprisingly good cons. But at the same time, it's like Eula's the baseline. It's like her cons are good. It's just the fact that Eula's the baseline, so it ends up, yeah. Get off my goat. That's not saying much. Alright, where the fuck is Eula? Alright, with Eula, her C1 is actually like, and again, similar to Ganyu, a pretty solid damage increase. It's about 10%-ish. Her C2 kind of does nothing though. So yeah, she's kind of just a C1 stopping point. Then everything else is fine too. But most people, I guess if you already have a C1 Eula, there's not really much value in going further. Unless you lucked out, you got a C5 Eula and you're going for C6, maybe. But the only real problem with Eula C1 is the fact that her baseline damage is already so low, so we're getting the C1 doesn't really change anything. It's 10% on a character that does like 700k DPR. So it's not like she's going to become a god tier DPS from this. She'll just become slightly better. But yes, if you do care about Eula, this just bumps her up to about here. Oh, we're finally in like the good constellation range. But it's the Inazuma DPSs. Alright, slightly better is all I need. Base. Alright, now moving into Inazuma, we're starting with Ayaka. Did you guys know? Oh, fuck me. Did you guys know? No, it reset the thing! Okay, there you go. Did you guys know that Ayaka C1 is the only limited character C1 that does absolutely fucking nothing? This C1 has no impact into her rotations at all. It's such a minor decrease in cooldowns, and it has a 50% chance of occurring. This constellation does literally nothing. Ayaka C2 though is actually like pretty solid. It's kind of a potential constellation, but it does a couple of things. For one, since you get 2 additional mini bursts, it helps Ayaka reach more spread out enemies even without grouping, which I guess is very nice in Escofia teams where she doesn't have a grouper at all. And against bigger enemies, you can get the maximum amount of hits from both of those, the burst thingies. So Eula can become a very potent boss killer with this too as well. So yeah, I think Eula C1 is quite nice. Sometimes it can do nothing if the enemy is like in the medium range and then only the initial burst is hitting. But against big enough enemies or against really spread out AoE, I think it could be a pretty good constellation in which I can actually recommend going for it. So yeah, she goes up here. I wish I could say the same. Did I say Eula? I meant Ayaka. Ayaka! Oh my god. Ayaka can go here. I really wish I could say the same about the character that released alongside Ayaka, but Yoimiya kind of, constellations don't save her. These don't do anything, sadly. Or it's a very minor increase. I guess if I'm holding the same standard I'm holding to other characters, well, this for one does fucking nothing. But this C2 is technically a damage increase. It's like a 7% increase? Question mark. It's okay. Budget my girl. Her constellations sadly don't really save her. But yeah, I guess in Yoimiya's case, again, this is only if you like Yoimiya and want to use her. I can recommend getting her C2. C6 makes her as an Echo salesman base. Kokomi C1, they really wanted to double down on her carry playstyle. Isn't her C1 a 10% increase too? If I remember correctly from when I calculated it, I'm pretty sure it's like around a 10% increase for DPS Kokomi's personal damage. Where is Kokomi? Her C1's okay if you want to use her as a main carry. I can recommend it. Her C2, what does her C2 do? Kokomi gains the following healing bonuses with regards to HP with 50%. Wait, only activates at 50% or less? Am I reading that correctly? Wait, am I reading this correctly? This is so bad. What? Why would they give this constellation to a healer? Okay, yeah, Kokomi C2 does absolutely fucking nothing. First time reading this, it does nothing. Okay, yeah, Kokomi is a C1 merchant. Her C1 is like a nice 10% increase, but the C2 does nothing. Okay, sure. Is it Yai next? Yai has good. Oh, it's Shenhe next. Oh, it's Itto next. All right, let's go. So with Itto, I'm pretty sure both his C1. Let me check. Let me make sure. Yeah, both of these are fine. This is just kind of QOL. 690 to Itto, so he can play burstless. He can play run less energy, which is fine. I'm pretty sure Itto says 70 cost. Yeah, yeah. I remember I talked to Jello about this, and then this just helps you. This switches your combo, doesn't it? You get more charge attacks, and I think it's also about a 10% increase. Every C1 is just like a 10% increase if it increases damage at all. It's kind of funny, except for Hu Tao, which is like a 15% 15% increase. But yeah, both Itto's C1 and C2 are basically just quality of life. Itto's C1 helps him perform a combo with more charge attacks and makes him easier to play, which results in about a 10% increase. So yeah, honestly, either of these are pretty okay. C2 is pretty much just entirely quality of life, where C1 is like a damage increase on top of quality of life, in which case, if you have Itto C0, it just helps him feel better to play. So he can move up to C1. All right, with Shenhe, oh my god, it's the state of Genshin Constellations is actually so sad. If you look at Shenhe's Constellations, C1 is honestly nice, I think. Like, it's comfy. C1 is comfy because when playing Shenhe on like 20-second long rotations, is there a skill or a burst that's like the bottleneck? Especially when using Skirk and using Shenhe's skill right before you go to Skork. There are times where like her skill CD can be misaligned, which is annoying since you're using the hold skill, which this does help with. And you can also play more janky desynced rotations with this. So like, assuming you have Skirk's burst, you can do a tap skill, do a Skirk burst, switch back into Shenhe, hold E, and then you have the hold E for Skirk now. So yeah, I think it's a nice constellation. It can make you play more sweaty rotations, and it's also just nice quality of life. Helps us front-loading energy at the beginning of Stygian 2. So yeah, I think our C1 is like good. It's nice. This is so sad. It's so sad. Because look, this is 15 cryo crit damage to the active character. 15 cryo crit damage to the active character. Let's look at Scoffia over here. It's 60% team-wide on her C1. What are we doing? And it lasts longer. And this is so dumb because it's the active character. You know, I'm not gonna complain about it. And also, wait, no, I'm gonna keep complaining about this. It's increased. Wait, is this in the way I think it is? Is it like Sara's? This is like Sara's, right? Where it's like specifically like cryo crit damage. We're sorry. I need to talk about this. So if you guys don't know, if you don't, wait, is it the right one? It is. Yes. Okay. Ayaka can't snapshot this. Both Ayaka and Gonyu, they can't snapshot this. So once you swap out of them, you just lose it. It's fucking ass. But yeah, I don't know. I think C2 is kind of a bad constellation. I guess it's fine if you have Skork, but other than that, I can't really I think I'm honestly more inclined to recommend her C1, especially with how Stygian is right now, especially if you play Skirk. Yeah, these two are kind of just Skirk bait constellations, and this is just especially Stygian bait right now. But yeah, I think our C1 is a better constellation. I can recommend it. I think this is probably what I'm going to pick up for my 4 characters. Next is Yai. Isn't Yai C2 good? It's the Death Shred, right? Or is that her C6? Yai's constellations are kind of bait. This C1 doesn't really do a lot because for Yai, you don't really, unless you're using her as a carry, like it's better to just skip Yai's burst completely even if you have the energy for it because it extends rotations. So unless you're using Yai as a carry, this doesn't really do anything. And if you're using Yai as a carry anyways, then she already has very low energy requirements because she's on fielding and collecting particles from like Inefa or Fischl. So this constellation is kind of very bait. It doesn't really end up being a damage increase in a lot of cases. Like I can't really recommend this constellation one, honestly. The C2 though, this just increases the level of her Sakura totems. It's just a damage increase. I don't know the exact percentage, but it increases the range of the totems and it's just a damage increase. In which case, it actually does some things. I can recommend it. And it makes her a better all-field DPS. It's Itto next. Jesus. Isn't a C2 good? His C1 does nothing, but C2's good. IRC. Let me check. Yeah, this is good. Just skip him. Yeah, Itto's C1 doesn't really do anything. C2 is fine. He's kind of a CT merchant. It's at least 50. I think it's around 15% if I remember correctly. I calculated this for Jello and I forgot, but I think it should be around 15%. But yeah, I can recommend a C2. It's fine. It also makes him more tanky. OMG. All right, we've entered Sumeru. Tighnari C1. Isn't C1 bad? It's the crit rate against enemies. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, these are both good. Wait, what? Isn't there a bad one? Wait, what? Wait, all of these are good. Wait, I can't doom post him. Yeah, all of these are good actually. Oh, this one's kind of meh. Yeah, well, okay. I can actually, honestly, if you're at Tighnari at any point, all of these are good. Like none of these are bad. Yes, but like C6, doesn't C6 give you an additional shot too? Like these are all like solid. Having to skip over Elon crushes my soul, yeah. Yeah, honestly, at any point you can get Tighnari cons. These are all good. And I'm pretty sure with C6, he becomes an 100k DPS character with like Llama and Nefa from what Vumfi calculated. So yeah, honestly, rare case of everything being good. You kind of can't take it out here. Everything's good. The King of Sin! I'm pretty sure his constellations are also kind of meh. C1, hold on, where's Rolfagus? I have, wait, are you here? Oh no, he's not. Hey, wait. There's a specific Cyno theory craft I want to ask for. Okay, roll.
Holy shit, you caught me by surprise a lot.
Wait, you're on stream. So I'm making a video on standard. I'm making a video on like all the early constellations. Can you walk us through Cyno's C1 and C2?
Oh, is that what you called me? Oh,
yes.
My fucking god. Okay. His C1 is essentially a 0% damage increase in almost every scenario.
Yeah, so it's bad.
His optimal combos at the moment are like N4D and 4E past the first end seer, in which attack speed benefits nothing because you can do that C0 very easily, and C1 only helps it a little bit, but it's barely noticeable.
So C1
So
is
essentially,
0%.
yes, and the C2 is like 10% in quick bloom, 17% in overload. It's really bad.
So so if
like,
you like Cyno, you go for a
Bloom-
C2, but it's like mid. Because I guess electro damage bonus
No.
doesn't really do anything if you are playing a team where Dendro cores are like 60% of the damage.
Yes, and you know, if you wanna go vertical on him, you go for signature and
Yeah.
refinement.
Refinements
You
over
don't go for
C2?
con.
I
You
see.
don't go for con, bro. I mean, C2 is like fine, but that's it.
I see. Alright, thank you.
And that's
Oh, yeah, anything else?
that's it.
Yeah, we were only talking about C1 and C2.
Oh, you fucking! I thought you wanted to talk. Fuck you.
No,
But no, you just wanted to suck information out of me.
Yes, I leached you. I'll DM you later after stream.
All right.
Alright, bye. Thank you.
I'll see you later, man. No problem.
Okay, so you heard it here, folks. Pull for nothing on Cyno. He's the free Stella. Moving on. Wasn't C1 bad, C2 good? Huh? Yeah, C1 does nothing, right? If I'm looking at this correctly. And then yeah. Yeah. Nilou, just put the C2 in the bag. If you have the abilities to get this, just put the C2 in the bag. This shit is amazing. The C1's kind of mad, but this C2, yeah, man. Yeah, you're really gonna want that C2. That's such a nice increase. It also helps like raw talent damage in Nilou teams as well. If you're using a talent damage dealer, Danger Renaissance is real. Yeah, these are good for. This is good for Llama as well. Why would this not be good for Llama? It's Danger Res. It's extra Danger Res. Yeah, Llama. Yeah, I know, but it's like it's not like it does nothing. Like if you have to use Nilou it's not like a Jean Farzan situation. If you have to use both anyways, then like this is good. All right, for Wanderer, both his C1 and C2 are like actually like quite good. C1's about 10% increase, and then C2 helps with backloading his damage. Yeah, so like you want to use his burst towards the end of his field time. So both of these are like good. You can't really go wrong. Do I have to make a separate? I don't want to make a separate tier for Wanderer. Where do we put Wanderer, chat? But yeah, with Wanderer, you can't really go wrong with a C1 or a C2. I'll just put him in C2. Nothing. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard to say anything about. Like C2 is actually good for support Dehya. It makes her pyre application last longer. That's about all. I think that's 3 more hits, or it's 3 or it's 2, no, it's 2 more hits. It's 2 more hits. Oh my god, is it 3 or 2 more hits? Jesus fucking Christ. 2.5 seconds. How long does it last? It's like 2 to 3 more hits. You don't need the details. But yeah, it gives Dehya 100% uptime, which is nice. What does your C1 do? Isn't it for DPS, Dehya? Even Dehya with C1 is still like at maximum wank a 60k DPS merchant. This C1 isn't really helping her that much in terms of DPS wise. You rather just get like a C2 Sitlali than this, but I guess C2 Sitlali isn't free. But still, even if you are playing DPS Dehya, I don't really think getting this is the best thing to do. PMC damage. I don't know. I can't really recommend this, but this is quite good for support Dehya. It makes her a lot more comfortable to play, and she can actually use a real supportive weapon instead of sack. So yeah, I feel comfortable playing Dehya here. And to round things out, we can talk about Baizhu. Both of his cons are good though, actually. Both of Baizhu cons are good. This is the extra charge, which is good for Stygian. I guess it's less impactful because you don't. I don't even know if there's teams where you want to burst every rotation on Baizhu that badly. But at the very least, it makes him very comfy for first rotations on Stygian. It gives him extra Dendro application, and it's nice for him as a driver. So I know. I think it's okay. It's an okay constellation. I do think it's less impactful than like C1 on Shenhe for extra skill casts, but it's still alright. Now this is actually the speedrunner trade secret, because Baizhu doesn't need to be on field at all, and you get a free shield and Dendro application. It means that in certain teams you can give Baizhu 0 field time at all, which again which honestly you won't really see the impact of this in like sheets or anything, but it just gives some extra comfort. It makes it so you don't really have to on field him if you don't necessarily have to for characters that have decent built-in sustain. But at the same time, you can also kind of fuck you up. Let's say you're playing Mualani, for example, you want to set up Hydra with her N1, and then you immediately just bloom afterwards, removing part of your aura. But I guess you wouldn't really be playing Mualani in teams where that would necessarily mess you up anyways. But man, it's okay. It's just extra Dendro application and free sustain without Baizhu needing to see field time. I'm not really sure if I would recommend necessarily going for it though, is the issue. Me when I want to play Aggravate and Baizhu fucks up my sword. Yeah, with Baizhu, I'm not sure where to honestly put him. Well, it's kind of a weird thing where his constellations are good. I'll just put him in C2. I'll just put the C2 in the bag. I'll just C-bound put the C2 in the bag. Anyways, yeah, I think this is pretty fair for the. Oh, it's not on screen. Wait, was it not on screen this entire time? Wait, how long? Wait, killing myself. Oh my. Yeah, it's fine. Listen, it's fine. Stop. Shush. Be quiet. Everyone stop speaking. But yeah, it's fine. Okay, but yeah, here is the final tier list, everyone. I do think I did a pretty good job. These characters are kind of just no on everything. None of their constellations are really worth it at all. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Dog shit tier list. Okay, buddy. I think this is pretty good. Yeah, I don't know how I outro this. Oh, hi, Ruby. Okay. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts on who you'll be picking for the constellation thingy, as I'd love to hear it, and I respond to almost every single comment. Channel members, thank you so much for your continued support. It means the world to me. I love you all. And with that, I'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace. All right, killing myself.